What up? What up, y'all? It's another week, another episode of the Line in the Sand podcast. So as you see tonight, our host Key is not available. So stepping in the pinch hit in that role here tonight will be your boy Cool McCain. And beside me, we have the self-proclaimed pro wrestling god. No, just kidding. My guy Chase. Chase, what's up?
Not much, sir. Appreciate that introduction. I excited to talk some wrestling with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then directly below him, we've got the guy you've been seeing all week everywhere, Bret. What's going on, Bret?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm always looking forward to talk some wrestling.
Yes, sir. And yes, sir. And rejoining us this week, we've got the guy, Nick, Sleeper Sports Media in the building. What's up, Nick?
Not much. How are you guys? I'm ready to go.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. There's nothing like being ready to go. So, guys, another interesting week of wrestling throughout all the platforms. A couple of different things to talk about. But hey, let's just start it off with a bang tonight, guys. So, how about this? Top 5 wrestling matches so far of 2023. And Chase, we're going to start this one with you, sir.
Top matches of 2023.
Your top 5 in order, or just want to give your top 5, however you want to lay them out.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to give them in order. I think, for me, oh boy, to just pick 5.
To just pick 5, right?
One of the ones that I think has to get brought up, obviously, is Okada and Bryan Danielson from Forbidden Door. The match was great. It lived up to the hype. Now, granted, obviously Danielson, was injured. But I mean, he left it all out there. So, and those two are two of the best to do it in the game today. Another one that I think has to get brought up would have to be Wrestle Kingdom. Kenny and Ospreay. And in fact, I think you could argue that Forbidden Door, Kenny and Ospreay is up there as well. In fact, I don't know, man. I feel weird choosing 2 Forbidden Door matches, but I might pick Kenny and Ospreay at Forbidden Door this year over their Wrestle Kingdom one. I like the Wrestle Kingdom one, man, but they did a lot of that. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, you could only hit a guy so hard so many times, and gosh, it just felt like it was just 40 minutes of just hard hitting, like a little bit of an overkill. The one at Forbidden Door 2 just felt like it was the right amount, the right sauce. It just didn't feel like there was too much. Although the one at Forbidden Door, I wasn't a huge fan of the Don Callis, the Don Callis interference. So I don't know, man. I think I'm going to stick with that. I think I'm going to stick with the 2 Forbidden Door matches, and then, gosh, am I weird for not having any WWE matches on this on this list?
I mean, you can't really be weird with what you decide to do on your list.
Yeah, that is true. But I will tell you that Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew at WrestleMania was good. I'm shooting from the hip here, man. I know once we get off of here, this is why I didn't want to do this. Once we get off of here, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go back and look and be like, oh man, I wish I'd have thrown that match out there. I think of some other ones here. Yo, if one of you gentlemen have your top 5, please be my guest.
Yeah, I got my top 5. I can go.
Sweet.
So mainly like this year, I've been really locked in on like AEW and WWE, so all my matches are from those two companies. I haven't really watched too much New Japan or anything. So my honorable mentions I had were Bryan Danielson versus Okada from Forbidden Door, Kenny Omega versus Vikingo from Dynamite, and
There
then
you go.
the other honorable mention I had was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Those are three matches I felt for phenomenal, but these five I felt were a little better. At number 5, I have KO and Sami Zayn versus the Usos WrestleMania Night 1. I thought that match was just action-packed, and they told the story absolutely perfectly. And Michael Cole was just so on point with commentary. I wanted to put this up higher, but it's at my number 5 spot, and because I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. At 4, I do have Drew versus Sheamus versus Gunther. That was just banger after banger. That match was just so action-packed. I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite match from WrestleMania weekend. And then at number 3 was a match that actually just happened. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold from Collision. 57 minutes of one of the best tag team matches that you've ever seen. And if you haven't watched it, go back and do it. It was just absolute wrestling clinic. At number 2, I have Bryan Danielson versus MJF Revolution 60-minute Iron Man match. Normally, Iron Man matches aren't my thing. Sometimes they're too long and the pacing's too slow, but these two, they paced it just perfectly. There was enough action to keep you entertained throughout the entire 60 minutes. They told a phenomenal story, and the match itself overall was just built extremely well. And to me, my number 1 is indeed Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. I do agree with Chase. I did not like the Don Callis interference, but it didn't take enough away for me to knock it out of the number 1 spot because everything surrounding it was just so perfect. So those are my top 5 matches so far of 2023.
I gotta say, I think everyone but me has probably loved the Bullet Club Gold FTR tag team match. I felt it was 30 minutes too long. The second fall was like 40 minutes, it felt like. It didn't need to be. Half of that could have been cut out. Personal opinion, of course. Sure, it's not the most popular one, but half of that could have been cut out, and we still could have had a great match, and we could have had room for more than 4 matches on a 2-hour show. Just saying. But Nick, what about your top 5?
So I got
And don't forget one of those 4 matches. Sorry, Nick.
5, the Forbidden Door, Omega and Ospreay. I've never really watched any New Japan or anything like that. So before AEW, I didn't know who Kenny Omega or even Will Ospreay was. So that was, and I think this is the first time I watched Forbidden Door last year, but I think he was on the kickoff show, so I missed it. But 5 is Omega and Ospreay at Forbidden Door. 4 is the Pillar 4-Way from Double or Nothing. 3 is the WrestleMania 39, the tag match, KO and Sammy versus the Usos. Then I had Revolution, the Iron Man match. I enjoyed that one. That was definitely one of my favorites. And then number 1, I have the Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank, just because of Jay pinning Roman and how Michael Cole was, everything about that.
Okay.
So
for me, go ahead,
so-
Chase. Chase.
Oh, my bad. I totally forgot you hadn't even gone. Cool. Go ahead.
Go
bro.
ahead.
Oh,
No, you got it.
So the 2 I had was Kenny and Ospreay, and then Bryan Danielson and Okada. I'm gonna go with the Bloodline Civil War. I'm gonna steal that from Nick only because of the story, and the reason why I like the Bloodline Civil War better than I do the WrestleMania tag team match. I was there live for that WrestleMania tag team match, and I love that WrestleMania tag team match, guys. But one of the things that irks me really, really bad is, and it's no fault of the competitors, so this is a little unfair on my part, to kind of like knock them down for it. but the Young Bucks and a lot of indie guys get a lot of crap and a lot of flack for using super kicks. Bro, I have never, ever seen a tag team overuse super kicks like the Usos do. So like when like people who like are like WWE stands like coming in and they're like, oh, the Young Bucks and their super kick party, man. But it's like, bro, like the Usos, I promise you there's 15 super kicks in an Usos match. 15 at least.
Minimum.
Like especially if you count double super kicks, bro, we're looking at 20 a match. So like, you know, that's my thing. So, but I did like that's why I like the Civil War story, is just because the match in itself, I agree with Nick. Michael Cole calling that match was amazing. Here's one that's crazy for me. Dominic Dijak versus Dijak versus Dragunov at Battleground in a last man standing match. Dragunov is one of the most underutilized guys in WWE. You know, he was utilized a lot on NXT UK. And then obviously when NXT UK folded just because of travel constrictions and whatnot. I know they're talking about getting NXT Europe or WWE Europe like up and going, and that's kind of supposed to be like NXT UK. But man, like some of that UK talent that they had in there was so good. And Dragunov, like if you haven't watched him, go do it, because like they made a big deal about Dragon Lee and all this other stuff. And bro, I'd take Dragunov over all of those guys. Jordan Devitt, you know, Dragon Lee, Dragunov is so good. And then my fifth match would have to be Bret had it in his honorable mentions. But I thought the match was really good. I still think it should have main evented night one. And that's Charlotte and Rhea.
I dig it. A lot of good matches. So I'm going to go with a couple of different ones just because we're really going to just rehash the same ones, right? So I'm going to go with, I forgot which pay-per-view was at, the NXT match between Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker. It was a
that
really
was Stand and
exciting
Deliver.
match. Yeah, it was Stand and Deliver, yes. It wasn't
Was it when Carmelo won?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the most technical match, but it was very it kept you in your seat the whole time. They didn't overdo the false finishes, but they put a couple in there. You kind of had a feeling about 2/3 of the way through the match who was going to win, but I thought it was a really great match just because of what it set up, the kind of passing of the torch thing. And that was that pivotal point where we started to see after that, we got the bad guy, Bron Breakker. So that's worth it there because Bron Breakker as a bad guy, love him as a heel. As a good guy, it's okay. As a heel, I like him a lot more. No, I'm just partially heel, so that could be part of it. I also am going to agree with Sabino. The Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn match, I thought was really good. That championship match. Sami Zayn, of course, didn't get the win. We know what happens in the matches, but the match itself told an amazing story. We saw Sami Zayn become even bigger of a star that night just because he was in that match and just because without the habitual outside interference, he would have had a good chance to beat Roman Reigns. So I thought those were two matches that were really good. Like I said, Bino mentioned one of those, but I definitely had it in my list. Melo definitely is him, as he just said here. I've got a couple of comments we're going to go through. But definitely Melo is him. So I do apologize. Him versus Bron Breakker. I broke my own rule. My bad, Keith. So I thought that was a good one. Like I said, the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match for WrestleMania it's like awesome, amazing, just because another story. Rhea finally overcoming Charlotte. So I thought that was a great match as well. So another match that I have that was on the other list was from the Puerto Rico show. I loved actually two matches from there, but I'm only going to do one because I've already mentioned Rio. The Damian Priest Bad Bunny match, violent, Damian Priest sold a lot of things that probably weren't the greatest, but he made that match. He made it look good. He carried that match, and he showed that he could be, a top guy. Obviously, I can't have a top 5 matches this year and not put the Kenny Omega match in there that everyone's talked about already. So no need for me to continue to talk about that, but that's got to be in there. So then I come to the last spot. There's about 20 choices, right? So, I mean, there's only really one I feel like I can go with, and that's the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. Heavy hitting, aggressive, violent, everything you'd want out of a wrestling match. It kept you on the edge of your seat, even though it's supposed to be sports entertainment over there. So a lot of other honorable mentions, but too many to even go into. So that's the 5 I'm going to go with. Like I said, I want to be different for a couple of them from what we've already went through. But yeah, that's definitely the ones that I'm going to go with as far as that goes. So we'll hit our comment section over here. So we'll start off with a what's up from Key. What's up, Key? The match was a banger. One of the earlier matches you were talking about, Chase. I forgot which one exactly, which you put it up there. So Dylan says wrestling. Boo. Boo you, Dylan. How about that? Boo you. And then Key says, not the tomatoes. Daniel Berry's in the building. What's up, Daniel? Appreciate you checking in with us. She was about to say the one you said, Bret. And then Sabino said the Reigns versus Sami Zayn was top 5. And we have Kia again. That was a good match, Sabino. And we have Elimination Chamber was darn near better than WrestleMania. It's kind of hard to say when you put the two nights together, but I mean, if that's how you feel, like I said earlier, Chase, you can't tell somebody how to feel. And then Mella was him all the time. And then Key again, whatever match Michael Cole went hype over was the best. Michael Cole's been hyped over a couple of matches lately.
I love both of them.
Yeah,
both of them were really good, yeah.
And then Coach Dante says, what's up? So appreciate everyone who's checked in with us. And Dylan, you still lurking in there watching us to see what we're doing over here. You want to see. And then Key brings up another one I thought about, but I didn't feel like it was top 5. But Dom versus Rey Mysterio, as Key said, was going in. I mean, it was entertaining to see a grown man get a whooping from his dad. That was entertaining to see. I can't deny that. But
absolutely,
there was so many different ones that it was kind of hard to kind of hit all of them.
Yes.
So we'll go through some of our bigger matches from or the bigger angles from the different shows this past week, and we'll start off here with the first show that happened after our show last week, which would be Dynamite. And I froze for a second here. My bad, guys. There we are. Okay. Gotta love live sports, right? Gotta love live sports. Well, Dynamite had more matches than Collision. Just gotta throw that out there because, like I said, crazy how that went down. But we had the Bryan Eliminator Tournament semifinal. Adam Cole and MJF versus Big Bill and Brian Cage. Another spot of Mania. Of course, Cole and MJF won. We kind of knew that from the beginning. Do you guys have any thoughts on that match?
Go ahead.
Say that I never want the Adam Cole MJF friendship to end. Their chemistry is impeccable.
It is. So let me ask this: where do y'all think this is going with MJF and Adam Cole?
One-on-one, probably a title match at either All In or All Out, whichever, either in Wembley's or in Chicago. I'm gonna guess at Wembley's.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Bret, because that's what I think. I think this is leading to a one-on-one match at All In Wembley. I think with a big stadium like that many people in there, you've got to provide a great main event. And don't get me wrong, like Adam Cole and MJF on paper is a great main event, but now building this story, this friendship, this odd pairing, so to speak, it kind of helps with that story a little bit. However, y'all do realize 7 days later, All In or All Out is in Chicago. 7 days later. I'm afraid and I want to get everybody's opinion on this. I'm afraid what's going to happen is, because see, to me, you can't let Adam Cole walk out of Wembley without that championship. You can't. But I'm afraid what's going to happen is MJF is going to win, and Punk is immediately going to challenge him at all out a week later in Chicago to decide who the real undisputed AEW champion is, since Punk keeps carrying around that bag. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I could see that. Another Punk and MJF match wouldn't be too bad, but I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I could see that happening too. I really feel like that they would find a way to make it work. They'd have Dynamite and Collision, give them 2 segments of more promo battles, and I'm sure they could get us all super hyped for the match. But yeah, I could absolutely see it. Let's just hope that Punk doesn't accidentally hurt himself in this title match again too.
In the title match, in a fight backstage, jumping into the crowd, whatever way, you know, I will. He's not here, but you know, and that's fine. I will apologize because I was gonna elbow drop Steve, from the top of the cage, not even the top rope, the top of the cage. I was gonna elbow drop Steve because of that meme. But I went back and looked at the meme. It said, "Who would you take right, or who would you cut right now?" And out of those 4 guys, you know, I know somebody mentioned Bryan, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, and you know that's fair. But you know, out of those 4, I think it would be fair for somebody to say CM Punk. Now I wouldn't, but you know, like when he first said it, I was like, I kind of thought they were talking about overall, like who would you cut overall? And I was like, hey, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? And now, granted, like I said, you can make an argument for Punk right now. You know, I can make an argument to keep him just as much as I could make an argument to cut Bryan, Cody, any of the other ones. You know, it's like, you know, Cool and I were talking a few weeks ago. AEW's had its $1 million buy-in, its first $1 million buy-in on the back of CM Punk. Now, not just on the back of CM Punk, but Punk was on that card. Punk was the main reason why that happened. So, granted, you know, and I agree with Bret. I think with the history that Punk and MJF have, I don't think you need a whole lot of buildup. But I feel like I worry that they would have Adam Cole lose another big title match, and then turn around and let MJF go a week later. Now, if you're building a story and MJF goes in and fights CM Punk a week later in Chicago, who do you think wins that match?
I really feel like. Sorry, go ahead, Cool.
Well, I was going to say, I'm thinking a little different. I'm thinking they want to play out this angle with Adam Cole a little bit longer with him and MJF, and they're going to stretch that out because it's getting entertaining, right? The whole video game thing, and Bryan and them becoming bros, MJF finding a way to try to get, of course, Adam Cole's back up away from him, because that's kind of slimy heel MJF is, right? He calls his fans devil worshippers. I mean, this guy's the devil. So, you know, drive a wedge between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong so that Roderick Strong won't have Adam Cole's back when the eventual match that we know is going to happen happens and the breakup happens. I think they want to play the story out a little bit longer. So I think Adam Cole will be safe. They can get through this whole all in, all out, have that match between, because I think that match is going to happen. Chase, I'm 1,000% with you. If it doesn't happen, I would be shocked. That match between CM Punk and MJF at one of those 2 events, I think it's going to happen. But I don't think they're going to play out the Adam Cole storyline before then, just because I feel like it gives them more time to try to build like, oh, they're really buddies. And then when we see MJF finally pull out that knife and stab him in the back with it, it's supposed to mean more because we waited more time for it. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, you're in Chicago, the one place where CM Punk gets a pop. If you don't put the belt on CM Punk in Chicago, you're not putting the belt on him for like another 6 months or more. So that would make sense for me if you want to put the belt on him, especially since he sacrificed winning the Owen Hart tournament, which we will get to.
Yeah, man, I don't know if I like that at all. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like I'm a huge CM Punk fan, guys, but I really don't like Adam Cole falling short and then Punk turning around and winning it. I don't like that at all.
Well, I don't even think Cole's going to do that yet. I think that's going to be further out. So I think because they're going to do that, you don't have Adam Cole fall short, like you said.
So and I could see that, but then I need to ask you, Cool, what's the main event for All In? You got 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium. What main event? What is MJF doing at All In?
I mean,
he's got to fight somebody there.
The easy answer is you could try see if CM Punk and Kenny Omega can get along, because I'm sure that would be a draw. That'd be big enough for the main event, or something to do with Punk and the Elite. But obviously that all depends on if Punk and the Young Bucks can do business by then. But from the recent reports, Kenny Omega was down to work with Punk at Blood and Guts, so maybe you can get Kenny Omega and CM Punk in a dream match at Wembley's. Like, I know it's not a title match, but at the same time, like, that's also big enough to be a main event match.
And AEW, they haven't put the MJF or the title on in the main event in the last 3-4 pay-per-views that they've done.
It's true.
I think the only thing I don't want to see at Wembley's is, I would hate if they had Adam Cole and MJF and they finished it off with like a dirty finish to set up like another rematch for the week after,
or another draw.
I think whatever happens is, you need your main event, you need your title match to have a decisive finish. It needs to be clear cut. It just needs to be a really good match that doesn't leave the fans disappointed. So, like, I'll take CM Punk coming right out after, challenging him. You can set it up using the media scrum after as well, whatever you want to do. But I just do not want to see, like, a dirty finish, a low blow, a draw, just anything of the sorts. Give me a clean finish to whatever title match you're going to throw on there.
That takes me back to the Cole and MJF thing. If like I said, it does not taste good in my mouth thinking about Adam Cole losing to MJF at All In. And if you have MJF beat Adam Cole clean at All In, I'm really not going to like that at all.
Well, like I said, Chase,
at all.
So first I'll answer your question. So to answer your question, you can have a number one contenders match as the main event for All In.
Yep.
You get like 4 of your best guys. You have them getting the ring work, a really good match, and then you have one guy impress you and be the winner of that match. Of course, that ends up being CM Punk in this case. But I think that would be a great main event for night one, or I'm thinking WrestleMania for All In. As far as Adam Cole, I don't think we're going to see a conclusion to that in time for All In All Out. I think that's going to continue on down the line, a couple more months, because it's becoming entertaining. It's something that people are looking at. It's something that people are starting to, dig into and like. And we all know in wrestling, if people start buying into it, they will stretch it out. Sami Zayn was supposed to be in the bloodline for a month, and he ended up being in there for like 4 or 5 months just because everybody started loving the Uzi thing. It kind of reinvigorated the whole storyline. So if they see what's starting to happen and people start to really love that angle, they're not going to kill it that fast. So I don't think he's going to be in a match with MJF. What I could see them in is a tag team match against FTR at that event, because they end up winning.
You stole it right out of, I was going to say, if you don't, because I agree, AEW doesn't necessarily, like Nick mentioned, doesn't necessarily have to have the world title in the main event. I think they do, but they haven't done it before, so that's fine. You put Adam Cole and MJF in a tag team championship match against FTR. Punk comes out after the match or in the media scrum. I love the media scrum idea.
Yeah, that would.
Oh my God, I love the media scrum idea.
Yeah,
People would
because
have
those
a
have done so
conniption.
well for AEW.
Yeah, people would have a conniption fit about it. I love it. And then at All Out, Adam Cole cost Punk the title.
That could happen as well.
In Chicago.
So we got a couple more comments here. So we'll stick with this, but just want to go ahead and some of these comments here. So Key says I was talking about Michael Cole going in, definitely. So Mr. Wire to Wire himself, Gene, says watching Dirty Dom fight for the North American title. That's an interesting thing.
That just ended like a few minutes ago, didn't it?
I believe so. Then Key says Wire to Wire Sports Podcast. I can see that. Wire to Wire says, what do you mean? You can see that?
Yeah, what do you mean you can see it? It's happening right now.
Key says Adam Cole, baby. And then Key is saying I'm agreeing with you. So apparently Key didn't see NXT last week. He doesn't know that that's actually the main event or was the main event for the NXT show. And then Wire to Wire says Key Williams thought maybe I had a live camera in my house. Never know what we'd see that way. So let's hope that's not what happened. All right. So then Chris says, what's up, Chris? Says Chase might be onto something here. And then Key will laugh out loud. And then we have our weekly Gene Cody hate. Anyone else getting bored with the Cody Rhodes storyline? And Daniel Bryan is his slave now, Chase. Laugh out loud. Key wild for that one. And then he says Wire to Wire Sports Podcast. That's become we've seen this before with Cena. And then Jory with the fire emojis. What up, Jory? Appreciate you checking in as well. And then Wire to Wire, yeah, but there's not where near as polarizing as Cena. And then Key agrees. Wire to Wire Podcast. Facts. And Wire to Wire says, gotta be honest, I'm turning on Cody Rhodes. When it comes out, I want to turn the channel. Well, hey, man. That's all I got to say about that one. And then Chris says, come on, you know who wins this match. And then we got in the building, big time. We haven't seen King Doug in a while, though, but big time's in the building with a gentleman for us. Key with the what's up, Doug. We're going to stop there for a minute. Got some more, but we're going to stop there for a minute so that we can go ahead and continue what we're talking about. So if you've just tuned in, Chase, we're on the AEW right now. So Chase was asking, what do we think is going to happen at All In and All Out? His theory is one of two things. Either Adam Cole is going to have to challenge MJF, which I don't think they'll do because the storyline's taken off, or maybe they win the tag team tournament and they end up fighting FTR there. Just to throw something out there. And Chase also wants to know if they do a match in Chicago, which CM Punk has to be the main event in Chicago. 100% we know that it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter at all. They're going to do that. So who he's going to face, I think MJF makes sense because they have this whole thing going on. And it's crazy. Where CM Punk has to be in every main event in Chicago, but that is where he gets his pops. And then Chase had asked the question, so we're just kind of going around and giving our thoughts on that question. Nick, did you have anything to add to this? I know we're kind of
just agreeing with what everyone else said. Punk in Chicago is always a fun time. I just agree with everything everyone said.
Fair enough. All right, and also on Dynamite, we had the other half of that blind eliminated tag team tournament, and that was Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin against Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. So if you saw it, Swerve Strickland cost Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy, that match. I thought it was a smart way to go, just because we don't really need Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, in the final. Orange Cassidy's always got his thing where he gets beat up and wins every week with the international championship. So he's doing his thing. And Darby Allin's just, dark and diving off buildings and playing with skaters and stuff. So we're good with that. Any thoughts on that match, guys?
Nope.
No.
Agree with what you said. Good way to give the win to the team, the tag team that deserves it.
So yeah, fun match and a great way to protect Sammy and Darby Darby and Orange while giving the team that needed it the win. So no, I overall like the booking, honestly.
Okay. Well, I don't care because MJF and Adam Cole are going to win the whole thing anyways. So, unless Swerve starts getting the push that he deserves, I don't care. I do want to bring something up that I was looking at my phone, and Dominic Mysterio won the NXT North American Championship.
Ooh.
He beat Wesley.
That's not a surprise for me. That's not a surprise.
That's a surprise for me. That's a surprise for me.
Think about it this way.
Hey, where is that? Where is that chump Steve at? I wanted to properly give Steve a chastise before I booted him out of the Line in the Sand podcast, before I pulled my Sports Empire Network admin stroke and got him out of here. Did that dude say that WWE should fire Dominic Mysterio?
Yeah,
he may have.
That happened.
That happened?
He said a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
he said a lot.
That did happen.
I don't recall everything. He said a lot. But here's why I think it makes sense. Right?
I can't wait to like bring him in. We're gonna invite him on the show live. I'm gonna be like, here, Steve, step into my office. You're fired. Out. Bye.
Well, now he knows, Chase. I mean, good gosh.
No, he doesn't. He ain't watching the show.
Step into the principal's office. You're in trouble.
He might watch the replay. But no, here's why it makes sense. So it's the secondary championship on NXT. So now you're going to have the secondary championship on NXT drug around on Raw. That makes a lot of sense because it gives that title more exposure, so that when Dom does lose it, Dirty Dom, then it goes back to NXT. Now you can have NXT guys come on Raw and challenge Dom for the North American Championship. And you can have Dom and Rhea, of course, because can't go anywhere without his mommy, going down to NXT and defending it or getting it infused with guys there. So I think it's a win-win. It makes a lot of sense because, being real, Dom can't beat him. Dom can't beat Gunther. We know Dom can't beat Seth Rollins. So if we're going to try to put a belt on Dom, this was the only belt that made sense for Dirty Dom to have.
Not to mention,
I think Dom should have beat Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank.
I'll say not to mention.
Gene agrees with you.
Oh no, I mean like Gene doesn't like Cody Rhodes. I like Cody. I'm anxious to see him finish the story. But I think for him and for the sake of him and Brock, I think Brock should have showed up at Money in the Bank and cost him that match against Dom. I think it would have helped with that story a little bit. There's a lot of people that are like, yo, like I don't care about this Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar match at all. I mean, like, I think that would have added a little bit more depth to it. I think it would have added a little bit of spice to it if you'd have had Brock show up and cost him that match against Dom. But
did they ever give a reason why Brock attacked Cody and turned on him, and then it started this whole thing?
They haven't. I mean, like, I think the obvious answer, like, like if like Nick, I think the obvious answer is like Brock doesn't think Cody should get a title shot before him.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think like it should be well known. Like I think like Brock should at least be like, yo, hey, like you're a Punk and you're not getting Roman before I get him. So as long as I'm here, you're not finishing the story. But like they haven't done anything. Like it's weird. Like you can't switch back and forth. Like Brock is either smart Hulk or he's regular Hulk. Yeah. He's either smashing stuff with no regard for anything, or like he's Cowboy Brock. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Like you can't switch back and forth like that. It's weird.
Yeah. So, when I was at Raw and Hershey, and they started it off with Cody walking to the arena, and then all of a sudden Brock just started just destroying everything backstage. I was just like, what are they doing? And then, like I said before, I didn't even get to see Cody's entrance, which I was excited for. And then that was whenever he broke his arm and this and that, and then it ended the night with Cody and Triple H in the locker. That was pretty cool. But yeah, like I've been seeing on Twitter, the one account that I follow, that every week we still don't know why Brock turned on Cody. For them to say it, I mean, like you said, that makes total sense. But I mean, for them to actually say it, they just haven't yet.
Yeah. It's weird.
I mean, this whole thing sucks. Like, let's just call it this. This whole thing sucks. Brock has no real reason to attack Cody Rhodes after coming out and saying, I'm going to be a partner. This whole thing sucks. It doesn't make any sense. They said, oh, we need to do something with Cody for a few months. We need to make him sympathetic, so let's have Brock come in and break his arm, beat him up. Let's let him beat Brock, then Brock beats him, and then we'll have a payoff match at SummerSlam. And we know who's going to win the SummerSlam. It's going to be Cody, because Cody still has to finish the story. So
this is
just another obstacle that's in his way. And Brock doesn't care because he just wants to check.
Yeah, so the Freddie Prinze Jr., if you guys have seen Chris Van Vliet's interview with Freddie Prinze Jr., there was that clip that went around, and I think we've talked about it on this show, but I'll bring it up again. Freddie Prinze mentioned he was like, I had a friend who told me, he was like, they are recreating the Hard Time story with Cody. They're going to put Cody through all these obstacles in January. Don't be shocked if Cody wins Royal Rumble again.
Going back to back.
Yep. Don't be shocked.
Yeah, they remember he's already done the thing where he mentioned Hard Times last night. So
yep,
it's already a little tease in there that something might be coming. Well, let me hop back over to the comments here for a couple of seconds, guys, and then we'll move on. So Key adds in free ice bars. Laugh out loud. That's funny. Sajin said, what's good, guys? What's up going on, Sajin? And Kyle with the fire emojis. Appreciate that. What up, Kyle? So Gene says, I missed the good talk, the WWE stuff. Right on time for that, buddy. Right on time. How about that? How does that work out for you? That's one.
I bet he already left.
Key with a ooh snap. Probably so. And then Steven says, guessing triple threat Dom, West, and Ali at the pay-per-view.
See, that's why. No, go back to that. That's why I like my boy Steven Chambers right there. Okay, that's why I like Steven Chambers. Okay, that's a cool Steve. All right, that other Steve that y'all got running around here is not cool, because Dom, Wesley, and Ali and an NXT like premium live event would slap.
Well, I just want to say I'm cool, but just want to throw that out there. So Big Time says Cody's story has lost its sizzle. It has. That's why they're going to have to kind of do this reworking of it. But yeah, we are stuck with it. It's going to happen because they didn't want to just go ahead and put one title on Cody before when everybody cared. So this is what we get. So Steven says it has to be Hell in a Cell, Cody versus Brock to end the feud. I mean, they could do it that way, but Steven, one thing we know is we have better ideas than WWE. That's been proven. That has definitely been proven. And then Steven says, possible scenario for Cody after SummerSlam, Cody versus Nick Aldis. I mean, Nick Aldis could definitely end up showing up.
I
Let's see if
read
that happens.
I read the rumor is that WWE offered him a producer position, but he's not ready or he doesn't want to do that. But he has mentioned that him and Cody deserve one more match. They need the three-peat. So Coach Dante.
Okay.
Coach
Yeah,
Dante. I'm
Coach
surprised
Dante,
Coach Dante.
what up again?
I'm shocked Coach Dante. Look, Coach Dante in here supporting the Line in the Sand podcast. I'm surprised Coach Dante's not live.
And then Steven also says Cody will start at number 1 at the Royal Rumble. We'll see how that all
Yes.
plays out. I've got a couple of theories about that, but I need to see what happens in the next couple of months to see which one of those theories seem heavy to fruition. So last thing about Dynamite, because there wasn't a lot of Dynamite that really had any sizzle to it. Of course, we had the semifinals for the women's tournament. Ruby Soho beat Sky Blue. Just mentioned that. We don't have to talk about that. And then 2 other quick things. So Nick Wayne versus Swerve Strickland. Nick Wayne is a third-generation star. He had his first match at AEW against Swerve Strickland. He did lose to Swerve Strickland, but he did look really good in the match. So, glad for that. But the other main thing I want to talk about was the Blood and Guts. The Elite and Blackpool Combat Club both announced their 5 members. Blackpool Combat Club has the perfect guy that fits directly into who they are, the Bastard Pack. Love to say that name. And then the Golden Lover, Kota Ibushi. And now we have the Golden Elite. Is going to be the 5th person for the Elite. So for those of you, did you guys have any thoughts on those 5th guys, or are we good to just keep it moving?
I'm good. I thought Pac was cool, but the guy from, like I said, I don't watch New Japan, so when he came out, I saw on Twitter that it was going to be him, and then people were saying if it's not him, don't be upset because he's not advertised. But I'm just not a big New Japan fan, so didn't really get a pop from me. But
No, I got nothing to add besides I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. That Blood and Guts match should be really, really awesome tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
I mean,
it should be one
obviously,
of the better matches.
Obviously, we would have liked to have seen like the full teams, in themselves, but we're not going to get that. But I mean, Kota Ibushi's the shit. You're in for a treat tomorrow, Nick.
Yes, you are, sir.
I mean, Kota Ibushi had like a 4-star match with a blow-up doll. Like,
I've seen that clip in TikTok all over the place.
Yep.
So I'll say this: Kota Ibushi, you could give Kota Ibushi a feather duster, and that's gonna probably be a 4-star match. A feather duster.
I was gonna say, granted, most people that have matches with that blow-up doll usually have really good matches. So, so I mean, that was an unfair comparison. I always screw up the doll's name. It's like Koto Atashi or something like that. But and I probably jacked that up too. So, but anyways, Kota Ibushi being involved in Pac coming back and making a big impact like that. I wouldn't be shocked if he turns on the Blackpool Combat Club. I wouldn't be shocked if they win, and then afterwards Pac turns on them, or if Pac turns on them during the matches. So Blood and Guts, for those that don't know, is the same thing as War Games. War Games was Fall Brawl was my favorite WCW pay-per-view of all time. Every single year I looked forward to Fall Brawl. One of my favorite years was 1997. And in 1997 was the infamous Kevin Nash making fun of Arn Anderson retirement speech. When he gave Kurt Hennig his spot. And then the NWO did a parody, back before DX did parodies. NWO did them and they were cool. And Kevin Nash said, I'm going to give you my spot. Not spot, not spot on a dog, not a liver spot, but my spot. So it's one of my favorite lines. And then Kurt Hennig followed there in the match, proceeded to turn on Ric Flair. I'll never forget that, man. It was one of the hardest cage hits I've ever seen, man. Flair's head was sticking out of there. He was getting ready to climb out. Hennig took that door to the cage, slammed it on Flair's head, and cost WCW the match to the NWO. It's great stuff. Every single time there's War Games or Blood and Guts, they always hint or always tease at a turn like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing something like that. Like I said, I can see it being Pac versus turning on the Blackpool Combat Club. But love Blood and Guts. And super WWE has Cody Rhodes to thank for that. Because if it wasn't for Cody Rhodes, AEW wouldn't be able to use it. Cody Rhodes somehow found out. He tried to. So Fall Brawl, War Games, was a Dusty Rhodes creation. Little history here for you. I wish old Doug was in, King Douglas was in here to have me school you jabronis on this. But War Games was a Dusty Rhodes creation, and Cody somehow found out when he was in AEW that the term "the match beyond," which is what Dusty used to call War Games, and Blood and Guts were not copyrighted. So he went ahead and got them both copyrighted, and then signed the copyright to Blood and Guts over to AEW, to Tony Khan, so they could use it in AEW. So, like I said, when WWE officials are watching AEW tomorrow night, they can thank Cody Rhodes for AEW being able to use Blood and Guts. So, I love Blood and Guts. My bad. I
don't think WWE officials will be watching AEW tomorrow night.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. And Crazy Game says that would be cool. Thanks for checking in with us, Crazy Games.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of a history lesson with Chase. So we appreciate Chase for his history lesson for us tonight. So Justin Bundy, let's go, baby. What's going on, Justin? And then he follows it up with a keep up the good work. All right, so definitely do. So now we'll slide on over to SmackDown. So SmackDown, pretty good this week. Couple interesting developments, right? We'll start with the whole WWE Women's Championship picture, because it's like a fatal four-way type thing seems to be forming here. So we've got the champion Asuka. We've got, of course, Charlotte Flair, the caller of her own shot, the John Cena of this era for females. We've got Bianca Belair, and then we have Io Sky with the Money in the Bank briefcase. So essentially, Flair cost Asuka the match, but it was a DQ. DQs don't change championships. Flair and Belair had an agreement that Belair would fight Flair at SummerSlam if they won, but that didn't happen. So I guess my question with this whole entire thing is, how do you guys feel about how they're kind of building up a little bit the women's division on SmackDown, with kind of having two of the biggest heavy hitters, and of course, Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair both chasing Asuka, as well as Io Sky, because she doesn't want any part of course, Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They call it whatever they want to from week to week, so it's going to call it the SmackDown Women's Championship. How about that? What do you guys think about that whole story that they got brewing there?
Not all at once.
I like it. It kind of gives a couple different options and angles and a lot of different ways you can go with it. You can run a triple threat match at SummerSlam with an Io Sky cash in, or a fatal four-way. Like, there's just so many options that you can go with this now, and I like the different layers they're adding. So overall, I think they're doing a really good job over there on SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw Bayley got hurt at a live event, so now Io could potentially be all on her own and could use that to get a big push for her just by herself, even with the Money in the Bank, and cash in at SummerSlam and go from there to the moon with Bayley recovering. I don't know how serious it looks like it was her knee again. But I'm getting tired of, I'm not a big Asuka fan, and talked about before, Bianca's kind of stale, and Charlotte comes back, wins title, loses, leaves, repeat. So Io cashing in and winning would be pretty cool, I think.
Agreed. Bianca is which is weird that Cool said that, but Bianca is this generation's John Cena. She's a freak athlete. She is the, she is the good guy. She's got a little bit of an attitude, and that's cool, man. That's part of her character. I like it. So I wouldn't hate it if Bianca won again. I am much more open to a Bianca title run than I am a Charlotte one at this point. My problem is, or I think what WWE's problem is no matter who they put the title on, it doesn't, or they're trying to show that no matter who they put the title on, it doesn't compare to Bianca or Charlotte. And that's the problem that they have right now. Like some of us really wanted Asuka to win, but there's a lot of people that even after Asuka won, some people are like, all right, somebody else. And then people were mad that when Charlotte came back and Charlotte won, but people were like, don't really want to see Ronda Rousey as the champion. So no matter what, like, people say they want something different, but every single time they try to give us something different, we're like, no. So if it's down to Charlotte or Bianca, I'm cool with Bianca winning again. But I think this would be a good time to put Io in. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but the problem that WWE has with Shinsuke Nakamura, Io Sky, Asuka, is there's no mic work there. That's not their fault, obviously. But I mean, like, to build a story, or to not build a story, because obviously Asuka's done a really good job of building stories in the past. But those three women, because of a language barrier, can't go out there and hold a microphone for 20 minutes like Charlotte can, like Bianca can, Rhea can, all the other women in there. So that's the issue that they're having. And I think that's why a lot of people are worried about Io's cash in now that Bayley is injured, is because now Bayley's not there to be Io's mouthpiece. So now they're like, okay, do we want to go ahead and pull the trigger on this, or do we want to pump the brakes and wait?
So this is why this statement right here is why Charlotte, in my opinion, is the new John Cena. Charlotte gets pushed no matter what. Charlotte comes back. Charlotte does nothing to earn it. She just gets it. That's to me why she's like John Cena. All the ways that you're saying, Bianca is like the new John Cena, but there have been so many of those type of people on the men's side. It's weird to have one on the women's side, but there's just so many other things that make her, I like her personality better than John Cena. Now, the problem we're going to come into that's going to make her very similar to John Cena, and I'm talking about Bianca here, is she doesn't want to turn heel.
Yep.
She shouldn't turn heel because what she does behind the scenes, the role model that she is for young girls,
she's also a huge,
she shouldn't.
Yeah, she's also a huge merch seller. Like, so the demographic, us, right? The male 18 to 49, like, we will, like, not me, but a lot of us in that demographic want to see Bianca turn heel. The problem is that WWE is making a lot of money on Bianca Belair merchandise and stuff like that. So, and then she does a lot for Make-A-Wish, exactly like John Cena. So that's why WWE's like, nah, we're not going to do that. So, I mean,
just don't shove her
but
down her throats and she'll be fine.
yeah, but I think for a lot of people, I think it's to that point where, like, you know, people are excited. They want to see Io cash in, or they want to see Asuka continue a run. I don't like the way it's looking for Asuka, but we all know that Triple H is a big Asuka fan, as he should be. She's great, so maybe that will help protect Asuka in some way. But like I said, to begin with, it all sounds good in theory. Having Asuka be champion, having Io Sky be champion, you know, Kairi Sane, all those phenomenal athletes be champion. But when it comes time to cut a promo or stand in the ring and do mic work with somebody who's good on the stick, like Bianca, like Rhea, like Charlotte, like Bayley, there it's, you know, it's kind of an uneven matchup there because, you know, because of a language barrier. Those women can't go for a 10-15 minute promo with the best in the company. So
we got a question back to Ring of Honor. We're going to answer here for Steven. Those of you who watch Ring of Honor or know about Ring of Honor. So, despite Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up this Friday, any predictions who will be Claudio's opponent? So, you just reach into a hat and pick out one of the guys that would be a great opponent for Claudio. It doesn't matter if they're on the Ring of Honor roster. Doesn't matter if they're on the AEW roster. Or just, you know, throw about 5-10 names in a hat and just pull somebody out. Maybe like a Scorpio Sky. It could be the Redeemer. You know, it could be one of several other people. It doesn't really matter because they haven't done anything to make you want to buy into Ring of Honor yet. Until they separate as a brand and give it an actual show, it doesn't really matter who the champs are. It's just another set of belts that people are carrying around, like the WCW belts when they were in WWE. It's pretty much, I mean, honestly, that's what Ring of Honor is until they separate that roster and actually make it a solid show. It could be a good show, but the way that it's been done now, doesn't matter who fights. He's going to win because they don't care about anybody else.
I strongly disagree. ROH has its own show now, and they're doing a lot better separating it.
It's not televised.
Yes, agreed. But unfortunately,
I'm not going to turn on my TV and see it, so I don't care.
Well, the thing that sucks about that is, because I agree, but the thing that sucks about that is, can you market ROH in a TV show?
You can market ROH on all 3 of the AEW shows every week.
You can mix
if
it
you
in.
had a place for people to go. Yeah, if you had a place for people to go watch it, yeah,
absolutely.
You could
but
take you could take Rampage and make it an hour Ring of Honor show now, since you have 2 full 2-hour shows of AEW, Dynamite and Collision.
I do agree, but if you were trying to market it to Warner Brothers or Discovery or anybody else, and they go back and they look and see what ROH was, they're going to go, yeah, no, we're not interested in the 40,000 views every week. Or the 300,000, whatever. I forgot to add a 0 into that. The 300 or 400,000 views every week.
Right, but I mean, it's never going to get any better if you don't at least have a place to go see it.
I think that I think that they should do a better job of marketing it. I think if they were, I think that they need to put it on like the Max thing instead of the ROH.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, like if it's like at Peacock, for example, you pay $4.99 a month for Peacock, and you get all that stuff included. And then if you tell me like, hey, HBO Max or Max as it's called now, you get ROH included in it, then I would go, shit, yeah. But I'm not paying a whole $10 a month by itself. I would, because I'm a nerd, because I have no life. Like my wife and kids are going to leave me because I love wrestling so much. Not really, maybe, who knows? It's classified. Anyways, but I mean, like most people aren't going to, like I said, pay $9.99 a month to watch those new episodes of Thursday every month. Brett, are you going to pay $9.99 a month to watch ROH every month?
No.
Nick?
If it's on Max, yeah.
If it's on Max, but I mean, like to go
right
to
now,
ROH,
no. I've never watched ROH, never watched Impact, never watched New Japan. I just don't.
I mean, like
watch
they all have their own separate streaming services, and I know that like Nick Khan has mentioned WWE going back to pay-per-views, and I could see that because Endeavor, WFC, like you have to ask yourself, like in the world we live in today.
Yeah, streaming services are the way to go. And the Peacock deal doesn't end until 2025, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like Nick Khan has mentioned like going back to pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And I know with Endeavor, that sounds like a pretty cool idea for Endeavor. But I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but UFC is like that demographic I talked about, the 18 to 49 male. Yep. We're gonna pay $70 to watch a UFC pay-per-view.
Yep.
I'm not paying $70 or $60 every month to watch, because mind you, WWE got to $60 a month before they went to the network.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying $60, $70 a month to watch a WWE pay-per-view every month. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing.
And we has to kind of realize that when they're
ladies and gentlemen, we have to pause now. We have been joined.
He needs his own theme
Mr.
music,
Big
man.
Time himself. Doesn't have it yet, but we have been joined by Mr. Big Time himself, King Doug.
King Douglas.
Welcome to the party, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need entrance music. I don't need, nothing. All I need is my crowd to join me. That's all. And as you can hear, once I enter in, the crowd goes wild. I was listening earlier real quickly. I think I heard Chase talk about the Dream and War Games and this thing that Cody allowed AEW to do. And once again, I have to come on here. I wasn't going to come on at all, but once I heard it, it just shows me, and I don't know what the rest of y'all's schedule is, but I have a problem with wrestling right now because the devaluing of the cage is destroying me. I mean, the War Games was like the ultimate battleground, the ultimate settling ground for a feud of, a little, 4-man team, 5-man team. And now it is not even built up the right way. It was the original Hell in a Cell before Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker went in. The cage meant something. When your body hit it, it was a problem. When your face hit it, it's blood. When your face hit it now, people just take pictures, smile at you. How you doing? They wave back at them. It's just not the same. So, but I know AEW will do a better job of what WWE has done over the years. Hell in a Cell. I mean, good Lord, the value of that sale is just about dead now. I mean, it's not what it used to be. That's all I want to come on here for, Chase. I heard you call my name out, talking about the Dream and what Cody has allowed. I mean, Cody just messing up in everything. His story has no sizzle. He letting people bar his dad's thing. They killing that. AEW do a better job. I mean, it's just look. Take the cage down. If I'm gonna run you and scrape your face across the cage, and all I see is your latest hair gel in your face, and your hair, then what is the cage for? I mean, help me out here. I'm sorry, but that's really all I want to say, Chase. I really didn't come in. Hey, Sleeper Sports Media. I don't think I never met you.
No, you jumped in the first episode that I was on. You came in.
You're doing a great job, Guardy. You're doing a great job, man, and cool as always. y'all doing a good job. But I can't stand the devaluing of the cage. I just can't stand it. So let's just stop it. If we ain't gonna make people pay the price, let's stop it. The building of the feud is not what it used to be. Guys just jump in the cage now, they barely know each other, like they just really a team. When the Horsemen and the Superpowers got into their cage, it was almost like a 6-month building to July the 4th, 1987, when they hit it in Atlanta in the Omni. You knew it was going to be a Super League battleground. That's what they produced. Now guys jump in the cage, they sing Barney songs. I love you, you love me. We're a happy family. You know, with this is what they do now. It's totally ridiculous. But that's all I have to say, Chase. God bless you. Y'all doing a great job, gentlemen.
Well, we appreciate you, big time. So I'm gonna piggyback off what you said right quick. I think that's happened to all of the big time matches, Elimination Chamber, the TLC, Last Man Standing, all of those. I mean, we keep going on for days, but all of these specialty matches have kind of become routine, so you don't care anymore when you see them, right? Like you said, back in the day when you saw like a Hell in a Cell between the Undertaker and Mankind, you're like, they've been fighting for 2 years. It's time for it to be over. Put them in the cage, let them bleed, let them take a couple of years off their career, and let's get a real ending. Now, like you said, it happens too often. So I think I do agree with you. AEW with the Blood and Guts has done a really great job of building to that match. It doesn't happen just because two teams have a beef for 2 months. Like, it has to build up for over some time before it actually happens. So I do like where they're going with that. There are some times where the only thing for me with AEW, sometimes I look at it and say, why? And it's bleeding over to WWE now. So that's why I was joking earlier, Jason. I was like, I don't think they're watching. Like, they have to be watching a little bit because false finishes. We get 10 minutes of matches of guys kicking out. You don't have to kick out every time. It's okay. You don't have to pin them every time. We can do some other things besides just pin and kick out, pin and kick out, pin and kick out for 10 minutes. So it's some things that need to change. But when we have gentlemen like, Big Time will come on and kind of give us that old school feel, it kind of helps you understand those things and how things were back before possibly some of the fans, some of us were watching. That old school. So we appreciate that, Big Time.
Appreciate y'all, man. Chase, y'all doing a great job, man.
Any week, man. Any week.
Y'all doing a great job, man. Great job.
You gonna come on here like that? I got to come up here like this.
Well, you come on. But I always remember this is old school.
Big goal, Ric Flair, baby.
Yeah, but Flair's good. But this what made Flair right here. Not that one. This is the one. This is the one that made him right here. I always remember.
This is the one that made Triple H and Randy Orton.
Yeah. Exactly. I kill you that one. Exactly. You know what y'all ought to do? This is just an idea, not to run your show or anything. You all guys ought to do an all-time. I don't know how old you guys are, but do an all-time 70s and 80s war games like Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik, and on one side, and
remember when they killed
Brody. Give me Brody on that team. Give me Stan Hansen on that side. Then give me Dusty and give me
Big Time. You remember when they killed Abdullah the Butcher?
Yeah, I remember when they fried him in the chair. That was funny. Rick Steiner did that. That was funny. Stuff like I'm saying. Something that's and the only way you're really gonna make this happen unless you got the WWE video game and just watch the brutality with guys like that in there. That's great stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let the cage be the cage. That's what I'm talking about.
You can find some of the clips on YouTube and everything too. You can find some of them.
Yeah. It's there. But that's good old stuff. This little Candyland, Sesame Street cage matches that we seeing now just it's embarrassment to what the legacy of the cage used to be. It's just horrible to me. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good night, gentlemen. That I pop in and then I pop out. I'm just like Jerry Lawler with one of his greatest interests. Watch this. I pop in and then I disappear.
We need a segment. Oh, we need a segment every week.
We
called
try to
King-
get.
Yeah, all I'm
Absolutely.
gonna say is y'all keep showing off your titles. Y'all better watch it. I got my money in the bank ready. Ain't showing up.
You got your green screen on in there.
I know. I got my briefcase ready to go. That didn't work out as well as I thought it would.
It's all good. But yeah, guys. So let's do a little. Let's knock a little bit of this out real quick. So also on SmackDown, we had the whole situation with Jey Uso, called himself the new tribal chief. Solo came out. Paul Heyman came out with his normal nonsense. It's your fault. Blase this. Blah 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 blah. And you guys have any thoughts on where we're at so far right now with this whole bloodline situation, and where do you think it's going next?
So supposedly, I read that WWE's plan is to cut it after SummerSlam.
Yeah, I saw the same thing, that it'll be the end of the bloodline saga and Roman will start anew.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah,
I said it when Jimmy or when Jay turned on Roman and kicked him in the face. I said, man, you just added a whole new layer to this thing.
Yep.
And we're gonna end it at SummerSlam.
Yep.
I don't know if I like that. I mean, you have so much. I mean, what's gonna happen with Solo? I mean, obviously Jay's not winning at SummerSlam.
right.
So I mean, that's it. I mean, are we? I mean, that's fine if Roman kind of does his own thing, maybe takes a break or whatever. I mean, because obviously I can't see Roman, working in September and October very much.
Oh, no.
I mean, dude, I saw something that said, that showed all of the graphics of Roman Reigns returning to SmackDown. And they said, like, in the past year or 2 years or whatever, Roman has returned to SmackDown 32 times and has only defended his title 27.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's mind-boggling. So, I mean, does Jimmy and Jay do something with Solo now? Now that Roman may be out of the picture after SummerSlam? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just weird for me to say, oh, this thing's over with after SummerSlam. There's no way. I mean, that can't happen, right?
It's trash. That's what it is. It's trash, sir. What do you think, Bret?
It does feel like that the story still has some, tread left on those tires. Like, in one sense, like, it's almost like poetic and the story where it started 3 years ago at SummerSlam. So on one hand, I get it, but it does feel like that there's there's more to give. But if you are like running Solo on his own, if it really is the end, maybe build him up for a couple months so that maybe by Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble he's ready and you test him out, give him a United States Championship run. I wouldn't mind seeing Solo with a nice title run. Maybe keep him and Heyman together so he can be his mouthpiece to help him out on the mic. Almost in the same vein as Armando Alejandro Estrada helped out Umaga. You can almost kind of mirror that, except with Paul Heyman and Solo. But no, I agree with that. I feel like this story has a lot to give, but no matter what happens, if you do cut Solo on his own, I think you have to keep him and Paul Heyman together.
All right. So, Nick, I know you probably agree with what's already been said about this story. So that's cool, but I also have a little wrinkle I want to add to ask you about. So, also, obviously, what do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah.
But if they do decide to end things, right? Who benefits the most from the ending? What needs to happen at the end of this story at SummerSlam to benefit all the parties that are left?
I mean, I've been thinking about this a little bit, and like they could do like a Solo. Roman looks to Solo for help again, and then Solo just turns on him and just walks away, and then goes solo, just by himself, and that's it. And then Roman sneaks away with a win, and then they go on to whatever they have planned. And I think he is going to work Payback. And could there be a return? because I saw a graphic the other day on Twitter that said it showed the last like 4 SummerSlams in a row. They had a big return, or 3, I guess. Yeah, 3, and then this would be the 4th. So like a Randy Orton returning, or or Bray Wyatt returning, and then going to Payback, and then it's Bray Wyatt and Roman, which would be where he actually when he won the title from Bray Wyatt in 2020. And then Jay can just kind of do whatever Jay's going to do, and it goes from there.
So Gene, can you do me a huge favor and bring up Gene's comment?
Which one here?
The Jimmy. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
If Jimmy turns on Jay at SummerSlam, and I like the Orton idea. I like the Orton idea a lot better than I do. I mean, for things to make sense, you know what I mean? Like, I like the Orton idea better than I do the Fiend or Bray Wyatt one.
Yeah.
Because if anybody in this circle right here believes that Bray Wyatt is actually on a medical leave, I've got a bridge to sell you. I've got a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm fixing
to tell me that you don't believe that Bray Wyatt has a second medical issue because he had one and he was getting better and then he got a second one. You don't believe that?
His finger, I think, was the first one.
Are you sure about that? But no, I mean, so for Bray to be the way that Bray is, there's just no way that I see Bray coming in going, yeah, I'll come in and get squashed by Roman again.
Yeah. 3 years later.
3 years later, yeah. I don't see it. If you bring Bray back at SummerSlam, he's got to attack somebody. And that the Jimmy and Roman match, or I mean the Jay and Roman match, is nowhere near where Bray needs to be. That's my thing. I mean, Gene kind of hit it on the head. I don't think that.
I wanted to go through some because I wanted this one to have an effect when y'all saw it.
I saw it when he commented on it.
I saw it when it popped up the first time.
I think it was during King Douglas's entrance. So I think that's why I skipped over it. But Gene brings up another good point. The only person that could take Roman's title at this point is The Rock. I think that match is building up. I don't think that The Rock at almost 50 years old is going to come in and win a WWE championship, and is definitely not going to be the one to take it off of. Is definitely not going to be the one to take it off of Roman. After this 3 year, 2.5 year, however long it's been. How long has it been? Has it been 3 years?
3 years. 3 years.
I just want to shout out Crazy Games. Thanks for that comment, sir. Thank you. The John Cena
I popped for that one. When I saw that, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Well, no, I think he said the John.
Yes, he did.
I thought he said the John Cena briefcase, because didn't John Cena win the Smackdown?
No, he's talking about how you can't see me.
You can't see me. Oh man, I like it.
Oh man. So here's a good question from Crazy Games. And now that there has been a lot of good questions, I know some of them we kind of had to skip over for time purposes. We got you. We got a little long one tonight. We got a little excited. We got off topic a few times. It's all good. It happens. We talk wrestling. But Crazy Game says, do you think Damian will try to cash in on Reigns? Now, that could be an interesting thing. I don't think he should, because I think Damian needs to win. And he's not going to win if he tries to cash in on Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, and Triple H all mixed in together in the minds of the decision makers.
So here's my thing. This is one of my biggest issues with the Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank is like the Royal Rumble to me.
No.
If you win Money in the Bank, like it's you, like you're here. You have arrived. You're big time now. And for them to discredit or knock off the Money in the Bank the few times that they've done it, like we talked about John Cena. John Cena had a failed cash in. John Cena was already an established mega star. Number one, he didn't even why they even had him win Money in the Bank at that time was ignorant. But Baron Corbin,
for him to lose, that's why he won it. For him to lose.
I know, but I hate failed cash-ins, and I hate wasted cash-ins. So Baron Corbin, I thought that was horrible.
Baron Corbin has been horrible for 4 years. The gimmicks they've given him. So
at the time with the Lone Wolf thing, and he had the cash in. I feel like they should have done something more with him. Second, Otis losing to Miz, and then Miz loses his cash in. The whole thing. I was almost ready to be like, yo, scrap the whole concept. And then they did this thing with Austin Theory last year. And I'm so done. I just don't care. I mean, for them to even imply that Damian Priest or anybody who wins Money in the Bank would take the cash in and go after the US title, the Intercontinental title. It's like, dude, come on. Are we serious right now? Like,
so here's the thing.
What are we doing?
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Here's what I will say about that. I think I don't mind a few failed cash-ins here and there just because it gives it a little sense of are they going to win? But I think you're very valid in the point of who those people need to be. So if Bobby Lashley wins the briefcase, he tries to cash in and he doesn't cash in. Doesn't matter. It's just another person that didn't cash in. If Damian Priest wins the briefcase and tries to cash in and doesn't cash, it matters. If LA Knight won the briefcase and tried to cash in and it doesn't win, it matters.
Yeah.
So you have to look at who the people are who win. I think we need to use this more to pump up people, like you were saying, Chase, and less for just to have someone cash it in to lose. If Otis should have never won the briefcase, then Otis should have went out to try to cash in the briefcase, and somebody should just beat him down. Right? He could have went out to try to cash in on Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar could have came out and put him in the Kimura lot, beat him up real good, and then Roman Reigns could have pinned him, and that would have been the end of it. So I think if you have those type of things happen, that's what you do.
Yeah, like my thing is the flashes in the pan. Like, like yo, like I don't have I didn't have a problem with Otis winning. I really didn't. I mean, if you're gonna tell me that you're gonna take somebody and try to make them into something, I'm okay with it. Like, cool, let's do it. But like, just to go, yeah, let's put the Money in the Bank on him. I really don't feel like it. So let's just. I'm cool with a failed cash in to a certain degree, as long as it doesn't make you look people. Yeah, as long as it doesn't make you look stupid. That's my problem. Like the whole thing with the whole thing with Miz stupid. And Austin Theory, the Austin Theory one was horrible. I don't care what they do with Austin Theory. I don't care. You will never, ever convince me that he's going to be the next John Cena, a megastar in this company after doing that. You not only failed cashing in your Money in the Bank briefcase, but you failed on the U.S. Championship. What? Is this TNA? Is this Feast or Fired? What is this? What are we doing? What are we even doing?
And not
you
only
won a ladder match with 6 to 8 people, and you're gonna go cash in on the United States Championship? You mean the same title that on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, people just walk up in the backstage and they're like, "Yo, I want to fight you for this title." Okay, meet me out in the ring. But you won a ladder match, gave your blood, sweat, and tears to win a ladder match to go cash in on the U.S. title. Fuck out of here.
But that was,
freak out of here.
but that was
son.
also, but
Not
that
even
was
to
also the
mention,
fault of WWE for pushing it into a corner because they didn't have 2 championships.
I say, not even to mention they've had the failed cash and just to have him win the title like 2 weeks later anyway.
Yeah.
At that point, you might as well just had him succeed with the cash in, and you still could have made him be a more serious character. You didn't need to mess with the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, like so that was the great point, Brett. If you'd have had him win the cash in, I'd have been like, all right, this is stupid. This is like TNA's Feast or Fired. Like this is dumb. Like change the concept of the Money in the Bank or get rid of it. But now, like, I'm not just mad at Money in the Bank. I'm completely mind boggled on this Austin Theory supposedly being a superstar. And it's like, he is? Is he? Is he? I mean, but that was Hunter's booking. But Hunter booked it 2 weeks later.
There's only one megastar, sir. His name is L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
I'm hoping that it's LA Knight winning that title at SummerSlam from Austin Theory.
That would be a pleasant change of pace. That would definitely be a pleasant change of pace. So
absolutely,
we're gonna quickly move on to Collision. This will be very simple. We had an hour-long match. We had the squash match. We had the finals of the men's and women's Owen Hart tournaments. Ricky Starks won the men's. What is her name?
Willow.
I just had her name in Willow Nightingale won the women's. They got championship belts. They didn't show anything about championship belts until the finals. They didn't have championship belts. I thought it just had a trophy. I thought it was just going to be a trophy. Then belts popped up. I don't know if that's the last edition, whatever, but that's all of Collision. So that's very simple. We can move on to Raw. So, guys, we'll just do it simply this way. We're going to start with you, Nick, because me and Chase have been running our mouths for 2 hours. About an hour and a half. Nick, any thoughts on Raw? Any big moments or anything that you saw on Raw that you want to point out?
The Rollins and Finn Balor segment was I enjoyed that. It builds more and more to going back to 7 years ago up until now, the time that they went at each other in between when they went their separate ways, whatever. And I think it's probably going to be another great match at SummerSlam. Other than that, the tag match in the main event, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they've now had the tag titles for just a little over 100 days, and they've defended them like 18 times between TV and live events. And I don't know if I really expected their title reign to be this just like boring. I haven't really done much. I mean, whenever they're not with the Usos, I mean, Kevin Owens freaking out every week is kind of entertaining, but other than that, it was just a bunch of rematches like the Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders. I mean, the Vikings match was cool and everything, but I mean, just it feels like I've been seeing those 6 in the ring for the last 2 months straight, and what's it really going to lead to? The Shinsuke, Bronson Reed, and Ciampa now being involved in the mix with Ricochet going on to Logan Paul. I mean, other than that, just the rematches and, like I said, the main event being a good match, but the title reign is not for me, I guess, right now.
Bret?
I thought it was a fun show. I really enjoyed Gunther and Riddle, and then Gunther calling out Drew McIntyre after. I thought Gunther did really well with his promo work there. Judgment Day, KO, Sammy, they all had a really killer match. I like that Shinsuke starting to kind of have more of an edge to him. Maybe more of a heel Shinsuke. You know, beating up a little on Ciampa there. So overall, I thought Raw was really good. I think they progressed a lot of stories. I I really don't care too much about Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders, so I could do without that. But overall, I thought it was a really fire show.
And Chase, our resident wrestling guru, what do you got for us?
I'm digging Seth versus Finn again. And for it to come full circle, SummerSlam 2016 to crown the first ever undisputed champion to SummerSlam 2023. What's that? 7 years? 7 years later, as Nick mentioned. But Gene brings up a good point again, man. I didn't know Gene messing around with wrestling like this. But are we gonna get that cash in at SummerSlam? I mean, he says it like Survivor Series. I think it would be great.
That tease more tension, Jace. See,
I think it would be a great callback if Finn beats Seth at SummerSlam. Because look at how they've booked Seth. They've booked Seth as the defending champion, right?
The workhorse.
And like the workhorse.
Yep.
And if you look, you could make an argument that they have overworked Seth. So Finn beats Seth. Finn beats Seth, and then Damian gets in the ring to congratulate him, and then he cashes it in, and he takes that title away from Finn. And it happens to Finn again 7 years later, wins the title, loses it immediately, this time not because of injury, but this time because of the Money in the Bank cash in. I think it would be amazing. I think it would be a great little it would just give you that thing of like, oh man, I can't believe Seth lost already. Finn's new champion. Oh my gosh, Damian just turned on him. Now Damian really, when Finn wins a world title, this happens to him again. I dig it. Well,
Chase, I think that you are a better story writer than the people in the room at WWE, just like I told Steve earlier. And we're not going to get what you want. What you want sounds great, but they're not going to do that.
I know. That's why I start my own wrestling promotion. So
they're not going to do that. I mean, it sounds great. Your story sounds better than it's been laid out well, but they're not going to do that. We know they're not going to do that. You know why? Because it makes too much freaking sense, and they don't want to roll that.
It would be amazing. Obviously,
like at WrestleMania, they had the opportunity to have Cody challenge for one championship, not both, just one. The WWE, not the Universal, not the one that Roman Reigns had the whole time, and finish the story. And what did they do? They're going to prolong it for a year, and guess what you're having happen in that year? You're having guys like Gene, you're having guys like Doug, and other people say, I don't care anymore.
Yep.
You teased me. You told me you were going to do it. You got me all excited. You got my juices flowing. You got me happy. You got me ready. And you didn't deliver. So I don't care a year later. See, WWE has this thing where they think they can just kind of do it the way they want to do it and not do it the way that we want to see sometimes for the things we really want payoffs on. And then by the time they do it, they're like, oh, his championship run wasn't successful. That's because you waited a year too late to give it to him. That's why it wasn't successful. That's why people didn't buy the belts and the T-shirts like they were, because you waited an extra year. So, WWE's good at doing this a lot of times, and then that being a reason why such and such is not champion for a long time, because they don't have the draw, they don't have the excitement, doesn't bring the numbers. You put them in a situation, and they use it against them. But we've seen it happen before. I think they're going to do it again. I think they're going to wait too long to cash in this briefcase with Damian Priest. I think he will end up winning, but I think it'll be too long. So, that's just my thing on that. So I say another great episode, guys. A lot of wonderful thoughts, good banter on the WWE. And I just want to say, Dylan, if you're still out there, yes, wrestling. Yes,
absolutely.
Just want to point it out again. So Chase, any final words or thoughts before we?
Yeah. I got a bone to pick with you, Cool McCain. We skipped over the Owen Hart,
doesn't?
Finals
We
winners.
did. Yeah, we did. You know why we skipped over it, Chase?
We wasted
Because me
a
and you
bunch
ran our
of
mouth too much. That's why.
we dived into a bunch of mumbo jumbo baloney bull snot. That was as PG as I could keep it. I was so
We ran our mouth too much, man.
I have done an amazing job tonight, guys. I have came this close to letting some stuff slip, and I haven't. Ricky Starks doing some heelish stuff against CM Punk to win the men's final of the Owen Hart tournament, and then Willow Nightingale. I love it. Both winners I'm very excited about. I'm a huge Owen Hart fan, so I wore the pink today for the heart attack, baby. No, I'm just kidding. This is the shirt I wear when I'm outside doing lawn stuff. So I know I could have sold it, but I didn't want to. I feel bad lying to you guys, but I love what AEW is doing with the thing. I saw something on scrolling through social media today. You read a lot of dumb stuff on social media. And people who try to, like, that's why I try to make the show as much as I can, because I want to be able to make sure that we're putting out quality stuff, that we don't have some dum-dum in here spewing a bunch of baloney or garbage out of their mouth. So I try to keep I want to make sure the integrity of this show is cool, but I saw somebody on social media say, is AEW and Martha Hart ruining Owen Hart's legacy with the Owen Hart Foundation tournament? And it's like, are you serious? Like, we watch what WWE did with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and we're questioning if AEW is ruining Owen Hart's legacy by having this tournament every year. Adam Cole and Britt Baker won last year. Ricky Starks and Willow Nightingale won this year. Like, I'm confused on how that's ruining it, but I digress. It was a great tournament, great matches. I do agree that it was a little bit overflown by that 55-minute tag team match, which was amazing, by the way. But like I said, huge Owen Hart fan. Love it.
Any last words, Britt?
Yeah, I actually saw that same thing, Chase, and I want to comment on that real quick. Like, ever since everything that went down in 1999 with his unfortunate passing, like, a lot of wrestling fans have been wanting a way to, honor Owen Hart's legacy in wrestling. And, we haven't been able to do that. And now with this Owen Hart tournament, it's finally a way that you can pay tribute to Owen Hart through wrestling again. So,
Yeah.
like, to me, you're paying off to all those wrestling fans that have been wanting something like this, or some way to pay tribute to a phenomenal, not only wrestler, but to a phenomenal just human being, family man, person. So you're bringing more awareness to the foundation too, raising more money for that. So I only see really good with this. And quite frankly, Owen Hart deserves all the tribute and praises in the world because of just how phenomenal, not only of a wrestler, even more importantly, just how amazing of a man he was.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're all WWE fans here. Like, I'm not picking on them or whatever, but Martha Hart is right. Like, the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame is an absolute joke. I mean, for crying out loud, look at who's got in, look, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, it's a Hall of Fame to just appease us, the fans. So when Martha Hart's like, yo, like, I don't want Owen's legacy associated with them at all, she blames them for her husband's death. Like, and she has every right to. Everybody in this room right now who's married, your wife would do the same thing if what happened. So, I 1,000% agree with Bret, and I'm glad Bret brought that up. There is a lot of wrestling fans and a lot of wrestling, lineage who's like, man, like, we would love to see Owen Hart showcased and tributes made to Owen the way that it should be. And for Martha Hart to say, I'm going to let AEW do this, because if you think that WWE hasn't tried to open up their pocketbooks to Martha Hart, and Martha Hart is just doing this for a payday, you are sadly mistaken. Vince on several occasions has tried to make amends with Martha Hart and offered money to do so. She don't want any part of it. So for her to allow Tony Khan and AEW to do it is awesome. And I agree with Bret. I think wrestling fans should shut up and enjoy it. So you understand that, Nick?
So,
I do. Shut up and enjoy it. I
right.
got you.
so Nick,
I just love how I just love how Nick just smiles and.
Well, like I said, I had just started watching, so I was born in '98, so like that, all of that, I knew nothing about that until a couple years ago when I really started getting into wrestling and everything, and like just sitting here, I'm like you said, your history lesson and everything. I was just sitting here and just taking that all in, and like I can't do anything but just agree, smile, and nod because like okay, I'm learning something. So
look at this. Look at this guy. 100% agreed. Well, in that fitting, you guys found my burner account that a random guy named Chase comes in and 100% agrees with me, Chase. Yeah, it's my burner account, y'all. Listen, we're in the late hours here, guys. I'm about to start. We're about to turn this into a sideshow. We're gonna get fined by Key. Cool.
We're not gonna do that. Nick, go ahead and finish what you were saying, sir, before Chase gets too riled up.
Honestly, I don't even remember where I was at. I just agreeing with both what you guys said about the Owen Hart, the tournament and all that. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to just shut up and enjoy it. That's all I got.
So Chase is a figment of Chase's imagination. I'll let you figure out which Chase is a figment of which Chase's imagination. That's all on you guys to figure out. I just want to end by saying, I just want to end the show by saying, hey man, great episode. Me and Chase have talked a little bit too much tonight. So what we're going to do next week is give you our fantasy booking that we're going to do, which is going to be Daniel Bryan and Bret Hart in a one-on-one match to build up for that and how that could happen. Who we think will win, all that good stuff. So we're going to bring that to you next week. Hopefully me and Chase can control ourselves better when Key's here and we can actually get to all the topics.
Heard that. Wish it didn't, but it did.
And then also, make sure you tune into Sports Empire Network tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our Coffee and Sports Morning Show. We may get another Bret appearance up there. You never know who you might see there. A lot of good just talk about what's going on in the world of sports, basketball, baseball, football. Sometimes I'll sprinkle in a little other sports as well. So, good, interesting show. Do a lot of top fives and different lists to kind of keep you involved there as well. So definitely check them out, man. And, other shows are going to be on tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow night we got Wire to Wire. Will be on. And I believe that is, I'm trying to think of the time because I know some times got switched around. I'm going to say 7 p.m. EDT. If I'm wrong, Gene, forgive me, but that's what I'm going to say. And just, make sure you subscribe and like. A lot of big things going on. Sports Empire Network. You want to be part of it? Follow us and be a part of it because that's what we do. And for Chase, for Bret, and for Nick, it's your boy Cool McCain. Key, hopefully we didn't do too bad this week without you. We'll see you back next week. And with that, we're going to get out of here before Chase gets us in trouble.
Heard that.